Distracted driving problem on Louisiana Roadways. I want to start with this presentation with a story. About 5 years ago, during the afternoon rush hour, a healthy, vibrant young lady from Louisiana, one of those parishes, lost her life because he ran off the freeway, single vehicle ran off the freeway and colliding with a tree. When police come to the site, they find out her cell phone was on the vehicle floor, and she just started texting communication 10 minutes prior to the accident. And he just, there's an unfinished lengthy text. She had not sent out yet at the time of accident. This situation is unique. It happens every day, every hour, if not every minute on roadways. And the distracted driving, well, people say now we can do pretty much everything except bathroom inside your vehicles. That is kind of funny, but also very serious because it's deriving people's attention on driving tasks. We know the driving task, you have to control the vehicle and follow the guidance, navigate the routes. But if you do something else, you're going to be distracted. And there's alarming statistics, how many people died because of distracted driving, and particularly the teenagers are the problem. And we all celebrated the smartphone, advanced communication, but those technology also can be very disruptive and have undesirable, unpredictable result. Cell phone increase, say the accident increase. And this shows the number of distracted fatal crashes and fatalities in the nation, in the United States between 2010 and 2015. This is numbers, those people died. We heard the gunshot, the massive shooting problems, but this is as a series, not more, about the safety of the human beings. And also this is another statistics. So how to identify the scale of the problem? We only look at this because they died, but we know how many people are driving and also using your smartphone. I think most of us are guilty as charged. We do this from time to time. I try not to answer the phone, but occasionally I do. So which is not a good practice. I try to eliminate this. We can do this in several ways. We can do crash analysis. We can do observational studies. For example, we know this naturalistic in-vehicle observations start with Virginia attack, 100 vehicle now, and then almost 5,000 vehicles, but Louisiana is one of those. This is, you observe what the drivers do. And also you can do fixed set observation by camera or manually. And we can do experimental studies, driving simulators, close test tracks, but this is only selected individuals have a distance, have a gap between reality and actually experiment setting. So this project, what we did crash analysis. We also collect the data, observe what is happening in the real world. And we did some inside camera capture the driver's performance through the image processing. This is the crash analysis. We look at this rate on the state highway system, Louisiana state highway system. You see this is urban roadways are problems. Lots of 3T means 3 lanes, middle lane for the left turn, 5T means 5 lanes, middle lane for the left turn. And you see this is for the past 10 years, the distracted driving accident in Louisiana, and also by the location, intersection or non-intersection, and this is by crash severity. You look at the numbers for fatality, that's the red line, it's not much. It's not that high, I mean, it's a lot, 50 is 43. But keep in mind, some people, not every accident you can identify as cell phone related. Many of those are cell phone related but not identified. And of course, rush hour are the problematic time period for this distracted. And most of the distracted driving resulted in rear-end collision, which most of the time is minor. But if you do have head-on, right angle, left turn, that could be fatal. And the single vehicle, 15% single vehicle crashes. And one study shows there's underreporting of cell phone crashes. So that it shows even we have those numbers, but this is just the iceberg of the tip of the iceberg. The problem is much bigger, severe than just the number of crashes. So how bad the problem is, we're going to observe how Louisiana did along the highways. And we try to do this with a camera. It saves time, it's safe, but we tried many different cameras, could not see exactly inside. So we did old-fashioned way, human observation. And we look at the vehicle type, age, gender, and design this data collection form. So basically, you go out. I just skipped the one. The one said we have done 6 locations. 6 locations for segment, 4 locations, intersections, and altogether we have more than 4,000 observations. And this is just one picture showing even we did last week. Urban is easy. Rural is hard because rural it causes the travelers suspicion right away. The last time we did rural, and within 10 minutes, parish police chief came to visit us and said some people called suspicious activities along the roadway, so we have to be careful. And the safety and the security of those students are concerned. So we look at the summary. In general, there are 15% for male drivers, 17% for female drivers. Unsure means we could not say this male or female, which is smaller number. When we go to age, the reason we put this age is because manual observation is judgmental. So we have a big gap here, and we still have unsure. You see the younger ones as the problem, as I demonstrated nationwide. And also the car has the highest percentage. But in Louisiana, if you observe, probably the passenger cars is 50-50 with other type of larger vehicles. So if you look at and of those two together, it could be larger than the car. And also we look at what they're doing. They're on the phone talking, or they are doing, we call it manipulating, means texting, maybe checking emails or navigation. And the number of occupants could be one. More than one, if it's one alone, they're probably making phone calls. So altogether, the total is big number, 16%. 16% we observe, and on the phone. We also did the chi-square test to show which one is more significant, and which result is as expected. So we also did something called image processing to install the cameras inside the vehicle and analyze the facial characteristics by software. There are quite a few software in the world pretty much mature to do this type of analysis, but they have different requirements. This is very easy. They can take any videotape to do analysis as long as you install the correct angle, which is easy. So we did, this is the software that we used, not just in safety analysis and also in learning in different areas. What we did was we selected participants is from 35 students from psychology department. Team up with a psychology professor. He has published a book on distracted driving. And we also have a few civil engineering students. And for the psychology student, they only drive for 1 day. For civil engineer student, we give them for 2 weeks, maybe even 1 month. So we have hours videotape. This software have 2 things. First, they look at your emotion. Every time frame, they look at your emotion distribution, happy, sad, disgusted, surprised. And also they look at your facial movements. So based on those 2 things, see this is just show one person his emotion violence distribution. And what we did was to develop, so this is the distribution of different emotions. People are out driving, or they do the cell phone manipulation. So based on those, we develop algorithms. We can see the program to identify whether or not, because manually identification, looking at the tapes is not the way. If you have hours of this video tape, so we develop the program to detect the phone, and the result is quite satisfactory. We look at 4 students and identify what they are doing. I hope this first student, I try to cover the student's face. I don't want this first student here. So algorithm, after we evaluate the algorithm, we think we can have tweaked a little bit, but overall it worked okay. So future, what we're going to do, we're going to complete additional the crash data analysis, and we already finished 80%. And also we want to make another observation, field observation. We're going to select the locations, very congested during the rush hour, because the police came to us, asked when they talked to us, say why you are here, and they said, I give you a suggestion, go to the locations very congested. I bet the distraction using cell phone probably is 50%. Good suggestion. So we're going to do one more observation. And also we want to finish the imagery data collection, process analysis, and one of those things is outreach. I'm going to the high school, I'm going to pick up high school to introduce the students this dangerous age group about distracted driving, so to fulfill our outreach education purposes. And that is, thank you. We know everyone's doing this. Just be careful next time. And you can look at how distracted are you when you're driving. Navigation means if you work with those GPS, track the location, that's the most dangerous. Questions?